not every show I could get into. Like, I really did try to get into Breaking Bad. I really did, especially when Giancarlo Esposito showed up, one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
But I could not really get into it. I tried so hard to get into The Boys. That didn't really come out right.
Listen, I tried to get into these boys.
I tried to watch The Boys. What? I couldn't. Now there were.
That's surprising to me. That seems like it's right up your alley.
And it should be. It should be. But the problem is, I think for me, when a show has gone past a certain time, I feel like, oh, well, it's too late. Or, I'm past it already. Like, I got into, I forgot the name of that show. No. This is Walking Dead. I actually got into The Walking Dead by the 3rd season. And thank God, because I didn't really care for it at first. When I was watching it, I got into it. But had I not watched it and it got to the 4th season, I would have never watched it at all. But thankfully, I got up to it. And then, but the thing is about The Boys, when I tried to watch it, there were things about it that I thought was cool, but I was just not dedicated to it like that, Let me just tell you, I spent more times watching reactions than the actual show. And that's the only reason why I know what's going on with someone, because I would watch people's reactions. And then when I would watch people's reactions, I said, there's no way I can react to it now, because some of these reactions are planted in my brain, and I just might say something that somebody else already said. So I can't do it now. I definitely can't react to it. I might watch it, but I can't react to it. So, it's just, and it's unfortunate. I had people say, watch The Witcher. I don't like this guy. What's his name? Cavill, whatever his name is. I don't like. Cavill? I don't. And I'm not a fan of his. I didn't like him in Superman, and I'm not gonna like him in The Witcher. They would say I can't believe out of all people are not reacting to that show. I don't have time. Certain things I just don't have time for. And I try to get people on my team to do it and do reactions. I say, yo, just do this, react to it, I'll edit it. But of course I deal with lazy people on my own team too. So I couldn't get that show to be reacted to, even though it was a show that definitely should have been. But I not only did I didn't have the time to react to it, I didn't have the time to even watch it. You just don't have the time to watch everything. And I gotta plan things out. I get home from work at about 1 a.m. now, and I come home and I sit down and I have a few beers. I'm not in the mood to react as soon as I get home from work.
I get it.
When I wake up in the morning, that's a different story. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm up, I'm refreshed. What am I going to do? Because I was thinking about, I have to react to a movie. What's the first movie that I'm going to react to? Then I saw Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. I said, there we go.
That movie is hilarious.
I saw the trailer to that. I said, holy shit. I saw it about 2 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, I'm going to see this. I thought it was in the theater. So I'm going to see this right now. I'm going. I told my daughter, drop everything. We're going to go see Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. She's like, what is that? I'm like, what is that? Okay, when we come back from the movie, you're grounded. But we're going to go see this shit. And so I looked it up. I said, oh, okay, it's streaming. So, all right, I'm going to react to this. This is going to be the first movie that I was going to react to it on Saturday. But Saturday was cleaning day. And by the time me and my kid was done cleaning, it was 11 o'clock. And I have a rule. Once it reaches 11 o'clock, I ain't doing shit. I'm tired. I don't want to do a damn thing. I hardly get enough sleep as it is. For many psychological reasons. So it's the time frame is always from sun up to sundown. If the sun goes down, that's it. Because that's vinyl time. That's weed smoking time. And so now I'm trying to figure out, how to with the longer working schedule, the weekends is pretty much all I have, and the time that I wake up is all I have, because I can go to work, sit in my office, and edit up my videos and have them up by the time I leave work. So thank God.
What do you do for work? I'm curious.
I work in advertising.
Wow.
I'm not going to say a specific company name. I've done two. I don't even tell people at work I have a YouTube channel because Lord knows, oh hell no. And trust me, they don't want to know. And yeah. I've seen a lot of people. I mean, listen, I don't think I say anything too bad that can get me fired, but I've seen the people I know who have had podcasts and stuff who have been fired at my job.
Really?
They have done so because they've had podcasts that are conspiratorial, where they talk about Israel being the Zionists, whatever. I'm not doing anything like that. But at the
don't
same
touch
time,
it.
I also said to myself, you know what, people may not just appreciate the ramblings of a pothead, you know. And it's one thing I even said to somebody, the same person in my comment section by the name of Email. So if you want to know who this person is, I was going back and forth with. It was the last Moon Knight reaction. The person's name is Email. I might just highlight their comments so you can see this shit. I told this person, I'm a nigga just reacting to a show, smoking weed and chilling. You're taking things way too seriously, you know. And you would think that people would see that, you know. This is just some black dude who's just smoking weed and bugging out of his mind. Why would I take this seriously? But people do. They do. I could be wearing face paint and just, you know, twirling this scissor, going like this the whole time, and everybody. I could just say one thing. And that's it. So, you know, I definitely didn't tell anybody at work that I have a YouTube channel. And those who say, oh, I thought I saw you on this thing, I say, yeah, don't watch that, though. Don't watch that. Don't watch that, please. Please don't watch it. And it's very fucked up thing. You put yourself in it when you do YouTube shows, because you know you want to be careful, because you don't want to anger anybody in your professional life. You don't want to anger anybody in your personal life. That's why I kind of stayed away from politics. There were a few political things I reacted to that's just obviously funny that you just couldn't ignore. But overall,
Trump saying you can't throw a brick.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
right.
You know, it's things like that it's just too obvious. You have to say something. But certain things I just choose to stay away from, because, you know, I'm not a person. I am a person where I just live to argue. I'm a fucking Capricorn. I'm not gonna back down. I'm not gonna apologize. Like, there were times where I would see certain YouTubers where they would bend the knee and do a video, and I would just watch it like, and that's those times I would say to myself, I wish that I was big enough so this person could chastise me. So somebody from the Young Turks or somebody, I don't know, whoever could say something, and I gotta apologize to who, motherfucker? I die first, nigga. Fuck out of here. I ain't saying I'm sorry for shit. And so the worst thing you could do is try to challenge me over something, because it's like, yo, your feelings don't mean shit to somebody who's been through the shit that I've been through. And it's like I said, when I went through what I went through as a child, to me, and yeah, I got to work through that myself, but to me, it was fuck the world. All bets is off. I don't give a fuck about what you feel. I don't care about what you think. I don't care about what you have to say. To me, that was a defining moment in my life, as you would think. And it created it created the mark in me, the Steven, if you will. That A-Track Brown started becoming conceived at that moment. And 30 years something later, that's when he fully came out, you know? So for me, it was like, you're not, and it's not, listen, it's not an excuse, because I'm not special. I'm not different than any other person who's been through that. But it just does something to you, to where you're at a certain spot where you don't care. And, you know, I don't blatantly try to say things that's offensive. I don't. There's a difference between saying something blatantly offensive and saying something where you're just talking shit and you're not meaning to. If I ever come across a way where I say something that just came off blatantly offensive, I would apologize, especially if I didn't mean it. But again, back to the whole, Moon Knight thing. Don't come at me with that bullshit. All right.
That's the thing.
stop. You're literally watching two people high out of their fucking minds, admitting that they have no idea what the fuck is going on in the show, and you're getting mad over that. Like, come on.
How do you balance like the reactions, your job, raising your daughter, like all of that? Like, how do you do you have like a flow chart? Like, that sounds impossible.
It's like I said, now the routine, it's a routine now. It's, go to work, raise my daughter on the weekends, or during the week, come home. Like I said, if when Obi-Wan starts, as you can see, I'm not the person staying up at 3 a.m. to wait till that show comes on and then dropping it and, like 2 hours later. That ain't happening.
They screw you all over on the East Coast. They screw you guys.
They really do. They really do. So I'm all like, I've had people say, you would get way more reactors if you would just stay up, and way more views if you would just stay up and watch the show and then put it up right after. And I'll be like, well, then I'm not gonna get more views because I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, good for you.
Like, no. I'm like, So my thing is like I will react and edit during the week, sometimes during the weekend. But the weekends are definitely reserved for my kid and other shit, family shit, or just self time, time for the ladies, whatever, I'm a man of various wives. I have 4,
4 wives and, or 4 wives?
Oh yeah, 4 wives.
At the same time?
And,
or different?
different. No. Listen, you're not.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. Are you in Utah?
No, I'm just kidding about the 4 wives thing. I'm joking, but I am a man of many relationships. No, but the most important relationship in my life is the relationship of that and my kid, and she comes first before anybody, before my reactions as well. She was getting into that game. And then, she got into some scholastic trouble. And I said to her, you're not getting another chance. You fuck up in school, your channel's done. So she fucked up, her channel's done. And she's doing much better in school now because she's in a very prestigious school. But, the channel is always like second. But it's just something that now I know a lot of people enjoy. So I try to give people as much content as I can. And, it's, like I said, it's a therapeutic thing for me right now. Before it went from having fun to something where I channel a lot of my energy over, because the trial for my grandmother's murder still hasn't been officially announced. We go back to court on September 9th, yeah.
So this is just ongoing. You can't even like move past it.
It wasn't grandma. It was her friends as well. So, not yet. And now here's the funny thing: when this person was caught, as a brother who don't trust the system, I spoke to my mother and I said, this is the guy, right? They didn't do anything stupid. They didn't do anything dirty. They're not setting this guy up. This is not, they didn't cut corners, because I don't, if you don't trust the system, how can you trust what they tell you when it comes to your personal life?
Sure.
So, and right now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it is the person. And thank God that my grandma was a fighter, because she fought him back. And if she didn't, they wouldn't have his DNA.
Wow.
So, it is very, that's why, like I say, I go back to it. It's a very therapeutic thing for me. So I have to get all of this energy out, because I don't want to go out in the world with this energy that I have, but I'm being taught right now through various people in my life how to be more positive and not, I have, for some strange reason, a lot of people tell me that I have a negative outlook on a lot of shit. I don't think that's true, but my mother said, if 10 people say you look like a horse, buy a saddle. So if I have people close to me in my life saying that I'm looking at things at a very negative outlook, and I definitely have special people in my life who say that I'm still dealing with like some PTSD because,
Sure.
they see me as being paranoid with a lot of things. Like I have a best friend who he went away and I was calling him like 18 times because he landed, didn't let me know that he was okay. And
Wow.
I had to recognize that. I was like, well, maybe that is a thing that I have to work out,
Mhm.
And so I actually have to, I'm gonna start seeing a grievance counselor. I'm even taking it upon myself to be a life coach
That's great, man.
for certain people.
Great.
I'm trying to start that in June,
Wow.
because I don't have the time to go to college and study therapy and psychology and all of this shit. And even though I've done my share of it, but I ain't going to medical school.
Sure.
I'm not going to do that. And I spoke to a good friend of mine who is a therapist, and he says, you know what, man, if anybody could be a life coach, it's you. You don't have to be. He said, if a counselor, he said, you don't have to call it therapy. You can just call it life coaching, and that's a way to get beyond it. And I said, you know what, I think I am going to do this, where I'm gonna talk to people. I'm going to counsel kids for free, and I definitely want to specialize in young children who have been victims of sexual assault to help them get over it, And I said to myself, now, how can one be a life coach and still have this channel?
Yeah.
It's like, how do you come from seeing your life coach, then you go home and you're like, holy shit, this is my life coach.
Maybe high as fuck watching Hawkeye.
Yeah, because my life coach actually said I should smoke some weed. I reckon. Listen, if you can take this, if you can take it, I recommend it for everyone. Okay, it saved me. I was on so many.
I got my edibles right here, bro. There you go.
I was on so many medications growing up because I was dealing with the ADHD. I was on one specific medication where excuse me for 1 second. I don't know what's going on with my eye.
It's all good, bro.
My glasses are fogging up.
Sure.
I was taking this medication for my ADHD, and I was living in the Soundview section of the Bronx, which is one of the worst areas you can live in the Bronx. It was a Thursday, 3 a.m. in the morning. I wake up. I'm walking down the block. I'm walking down the block with no clothes on because I'm sleepwalking.
Oh my God.
Never did that shit before in my life. And thank God camera phones weren't a thing back then, because I could honestly see somebody right now. You know that guy from the PW Hustle? I got pictures of this nigga walking down the street butt ass naked. And it was the medication that was doing it. And wow. I said, I got to stop this. Yeah. And somebody was like, you need to just start smoking weed. And I'm like, I don't want to do that shit. I'm like, you start smoking weed, next thing you know, you're doing gay shit with your friends. I don't want to do that. And,
I don't know if that's usually the trajectory, but
I didn't know that at the time. I was ignorant to it at the time. Yeah. I wasn't a smoker, and neither were any of my friends. But somebody put me on, and I smoked. I woke up. Nothing gay went on. I had my clothes on. It took me a while to get used to it. And the next thing you know, I was just like, hey, this shit is the fucking bee's knees, bro. It kept me calm. It kept me, like a lot of people, it keeps you regular. And I just enjoy being high, period. Sure. Mm-hmm. And especially now as I get older, and I'll cook me some food. I'll cook a steak. And as soon as that shit is done, I don't even want to eat it. I'm like, I don't took the time to make this shit. I had it marinating in the refrigerator all damn day. And now that I cooked it, I don't even want to eat it because I've been smelling it the whole time it's been cooking. So now what do? As soon as that steak goes in the oven, I'm smoking some weed, because as soon as that finish, I'm going to tear that shit apart, And it's always a balance. You gotta find yourself balanced. And so through the channel, through the power of the stickiest of the icky, I find balance. And of course my daughter. My daughter is the reason why I keep on living. Mm-hmm. There were various times where I was at a place of suicidal thoughts, and you have someone in your life, you still suffer from depression. Sometimes you still think about, the suicide, but I don't ever think about actually doing it because of that little girl. She's my whole reason, and she's just great at everything that she does. So she keeps me balanced, and she keeps me happy, and she keeps me thriving, and I'm just, I'm her dad, I'm her goofball, I'm that big goofball, that's always she she hates talking on her phone with her friends because I'll start saying stupid shit in the background because I'm always listening. I'm a attentive father. There's nothing that's going on that I don't know about. I make sure of it. I know everything that's going on, and she has all these friends from all these different backgrounds, all various friends that are cool. But I just make sure she doesn't get caught up in no nonsense, And sure. it's you see so much shit happening with the cyberbullying and this, that, and the third, and this generation seems to be getting more and more, exploitive because they have an outlet to just do something stupid and let's see if it goes viral. And so now the rules change from what you were taught growing up. My mother never had to teach me about, don't be so anxious to be a celebrity. I got to teach my daughter, don't be one of these idiots. I better not catch you twerking in your room on camera, because if you do, I will whoop that ass. All right. I'm old school. Timeout is how long your ass is going to be knocked out. So as a father, I always say my job is to make sure my daughter does not turn into a thought. Okay. I don't give a shit. I was like, I don't give a damn. She wants to be a lawyer. And I said, listen, I don't give a damn that when you're a lawyer, you hate me, because at the end of the day, if you do become a lawyer, you better believe that I was the reason why you became a lawyer and not a stripper or a porn star. That's my job. My job is not to get you is not to have you love me. My job is to have you respect me, and my job is to do right by you. Period. Period. It's almost like that scene in Fences. Your mother and me worked that out, and loving your black ass was not part of that deal. My job is to make sure. Now, I'm always, unlike Denzel in that movie, I'm gonna love my daughter, but more importantly, I'm going to make sure my daughter is ready for the world. That is my my duty. If my father and my mother they couldn't stay together, well, my father made sure his sons were going to grow up to be respectable, responsible men. Respectable part he probably lost that battle, but responsible is up there. Respectable in the sense of I never crossed my parents, but that's how I have to do. I can't look at the job my parents did and not think that I have to live up to that or live up to something better than that. I think that's always the par for the course, that's what you strive to be. So as long as my daughter is successful and responsible and respectable of who she is in life, that's all I'm worried about. And I don't teach her about, oh, you got to be independent, you don't need no man. No, I teach her about family values and everything. I teach her, if you ever get married to a man or a woman, no matter who it is, this is how it should be. You should want a family. You should want that if that's what you want. It's not mandatory. I would like to have some grandkids one day, but if you that's not what you choose, that's fine. But you will be a successful person in life. Like there are times where I don't think what I do is not bad, but there are certain times where I'm just like, it's not what I wanted to do. And I always tell my daughter, when you see me getting frustrated about work, just remember it's not what I wanted to do. That's why it's important for you to make sure you stay, focused, because you want to you want to do what you want to do in life. There are a lot of reasons why I'm not a filmmaker right now. There's a lot of reasons, because there's a lot of shit that, like I said, tasted those elements of Hollywood that I did not want to have anything a part of.
I get it.
I didn't want to have anything a part of, and I said it scared me. It scared me not to want to do that shit. But there are times where I kind of look at old scripts that I've written, and I say, I should try to do something about this. I should go back to do it, because right now it doesn't take me anything. I could make me a movie and put it on YouTube and not have to worry about it. It's not about the money, it's about, hey, I could do this. Look at it. Tell me what you think. So maybe one day I might get back to it. Maybe 8-Track Brown might give him some, might make a movie. Look out for that. 8-Track Brown might have a movie. And let me tell you something. I'm a guy. I've written 4 scripts in my life, and they're all love stories. Believe it or not, I'm a romantic guy. I write love stories. Amazing. Believe it or not, they all have to do with love and relationships. I don't know why that is, but that's always my thing. Writing about relationships, because I love to study the whole dynamic of men and women in relationships. Sure. Mm-hmm. I always get into that shit with people all the time. And I always say, listen. The one struggle between men and women is that we don't pay attention to each other. Women don't understand how men are, and men try not to understand how women are. We got to fix that. So I guess that's always why I'm focusing on, if I do write something like a little short story, it's always a guy meets a girl, or a girl meets a guy, or 2 people meet each other, and they morphed into this, and they went through these trials and tribulations. Because to me, that's just a great thing. Like, a lot of people get on my case because they're like, "You watch This Is Us?" I'm like, yeah, sometimes, because I like to see the dynamics. It's a cliche piece of garbage. I love This Is Us. But sometimes the show can be entertaining. Yeah, I know. And I said, I'm actually gonna miss that, because there were various episodes that I thought were pretty cool. I thought it was unrealistic at times, because I'm like, wait a minute, the 70s. You didn't see that many white people raising black kids like that, because I didn't know the time frame. I had a female friend of mine put me onto the synopsis of the show. Mm-hmm. And so, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. But I loved the dynamic of those characters. Yeah. I loved that. Even if I wasn't dedicated to the show, I love that. And I think I always think that's an important thing.
Yeah. I think that's actually a great place to end. Stick around for just a second afterwards. We can talk.
No problem.
But man, it has been a pleasure. I'm glad that you are my second ever guest for this series, because you are the highlight of all the videos that you're in. And honestly, man, you keep at it. Like, if you want to do the scripts, do the scripts. If you want to ever return to stand up, and I get why you wouldn't, but if you ever did, I mean, we are missing like that Patrice voice out there. I feel like that no nonsense, hilarious, brutally honest voice in comedy. I mean, we have Chappelle. Of course,
there is absolutely no better compliment that and the first time I ever got that compliment, I actually fucking cried.
Oh, really?
Somebody said, they said I reminded them of Patrice O'Neal. I had that comment happen on my old channel. About 4 different people said that on the same day.
Wow.
And I actually got touched, because I knew Patrice O'Neal before he died. Like, really? I didn't know him, but I was working at K-Rock Radio here in New York, and I ran into him a couple of times, and we would talk and stuff like that. And it was so incredible that me and this dude shared the same philosophy. So it's like when people hear me laugh, they like, oh my God, dude, it's like Patrice O'Neal. And that shit never gets old. And if somebody says that, I'm like, yo, thank you so much. If I'm going to be compared to somebody, and that's the nigga I'm going to be compared to, then God damn it, fucking thank you. And that's something that I never get tired of hearing. I haven't heard it in a while, but I used to hear it all the time, especially when I would, react to wrestling videos. One thing I learned from that man is never be afraid to be the truth.
Yeah.
Be the truth. He told me that. I was a co-producer of a Chris Booker show, and I was being I had a guest spot like every week, and I told him, and I asked him about that. I said, how do I get better at this radio thing? Because, I'm kind of like the you of this show. And I'm not on it every day. I'm on it like every other week. And he's like, listen, man, just be the truth, bro. Just be the truth. No one can fuck with the truth. And it turns out I wasn't the only one he said that to. But ever since he said that, I've always went by that philosophy. And ever since then, a lot of things have been really positive. I've had a lot more positives than negatives. I may have had a few negatives that would outweigh the positives, but it was way more positives in terms of decisions that I made in my personal life than negative, you know, because I was like, fuck it. I ain't got no reason to hide who I am. I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat shit.
Wow.
Well, I got to get ready to get to work. So
all good, buddy. It's been great talking to you, and let's do it again sometime soon. I'll put up this
interview. Thank you, man.
Yeah, buddy. You're one of my favorites for real. And I'm glad to hear you're doing so well. And yeah, keep at it, man. I mean, you have a gift for this, so don't give it up.
And I'm just happy that I have such I'm glad I have a fan in you and vice versa. I'm glad to be a fan of yours as well. It's like, thanks, man. You've been putting me down since Skybound, bro. And I appreciate that.
I'm gonna have to tell you the story of how I got fired next time.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking forward to it because I wanted to know about that, but I guess we'll leave that for next time. But thank you.
I'll let you know. All right. I'll talk to you later, man. Peace.